Take a look at this footage in the background right here. This is within seconds of me equipping on the LORELEY Splendor and the Ariana's Vow. Mind you, I've never really used the Ariana's Vow before, and I absolutely demolished half a team right here within seconds of starting the match. So what am I getting at? I've been seeing a couple of YouTubers now upload videos on the LORELEY Splendor in combination with a lot of broken weapons, including the Ariana's Vow. So a lot of people right now are going to be very interested in using this combination in the Crucible, and LORELEY Splendor is kind of a hard exotic to work with, so I figured, why don't I help you look good and play good? So I've made a total of 3 looks for this exotic, and you're going to vote on which of the 3 is the best one, and also just give your opinions. Whichever one you guys pick is going to be the one I'm going to be taking into Crucible to destroy people with. By the way, in case you just want to skip to your favorite one of these 3, I will be leaving skip links down below for you. So go ahead and grab your transmog, grab a snack, hit that like button and subscribe button if you like Destiny 2 fashion. And now let's get to the video. So let's go ahead and start off with the red one. So I feel like this one was the most obvious choice, but I'm not saying that the obvious choice is bad, because it's obvious for a reason, because it looks good. So I decided to use Carminica for the shader because we have a black and a red color. Black of course resembling ash, and red of course resembling fire. Now, I decided to use the Solstice gear with this for multiple reasons. The first is because it emits out a glow according to whatever subclass you have on. So I have on the solar stuff because I'm using the LORELEY Splendor, so of course it's going to let out a solar glow, and boom, that matches nicely. The second reason is because the LORELEY Splendor has like a very Greek god mixed with future tech vibe to it. And I mean, Destiny is a futuristic game, and a lot of the Solstice gear is based off of like Greek armor. So that's why I decided those two went together very nicely. So whenever we go to the mark, I decided to use the Wing Discipline mark because 1, it has a phoenix on it, phoenix equals fire. The mark is also very torn up, and it looks like it was set on fire at one point, which I mean it would be if you have fire all over your armor set. And the reason I went with the Devastation Complex is 1, it's a very easy chestplate to use with a lot of other armor pieces, and 2, the feathers coming off of the neck area right here help fill out the space between the neck and the giant shoulder pads that we have on. So if you decide to use something else that is a little bit smaller, you get a very weird gap here and it starts to look very not good. So if you're trying to make any looks based off of what I'm showing you today, just know that you do have to use a pretty beefy chest plate with this. For example, the Sunbreaker plate is always my go-to, so if you have that, try it. But yeah, Devastation Complex is what I went with for this look, and I thought it turned out pretty dang nicely. But, of course, we're a fashion channel and we didn't stop there. Okay, so now let's talk about the second Titan. So this one, I try to lean more into the Greek god feel of the helmet. So the helmet has a bunch of very good markings up here, and just the design overall, like I said, Greek god mixed with future tech. So I wanted to lean into that some more. And what better way to do that than go with the Star-Crossed Fist. Now these are very easy to work with, and if you haven't gotten the Star-Crossed armor set before from the Eververse store, it's a very good starter set to start mixing and matching your armor with. The reason I went with these is because of the Greek markings on here, or just like Greek looking design almost on the fist. So that matched with the helmet nicely, and from there I went to the Virtuous plate. Now, I know I just talked about the fact that you should probably stick to bulk your chest plates for this helmet, but I'll make an exception for the Virtuous plate. 2 reasons why. 1, because of this light going around the eyes, going down to the mouth, and kind of looking like it's leaking over the jaw. That kind of continues onto the Virtuous plate. We have the same color of lights, so it definitely encompasses that futuristic vibe that we kind of wanted for this helmet. And the second reason was because we're using them in combination with the Star-Crossed Fist, because that gap starts to kind of become non-existent whenever you have this upper lip area to the shoulder pads. So that's why I love these gauntlets, and that's why they're so versatile. So from there, I decided to just keep the Wing Discipline mark, because again, it looks all burnt up and it has a phoenix on it, so I thought it still fit the theme very well. This time I decided to throw on Amethyst Veil to kind of keep it a little bit darker because Kalos' Elite added like a brown color to the logo, which I didn't really like. And from there I went to the Kairos Function Greaves, which I recently transmogged just for this look. I've been wanting to use these for a build, but I haven't really gotten the chance yet. I love how this design looks right here up in the thigh area, and even though it's very extra, I like these like thigh blades, or I don't even know what you would call these, but they look very cool, and I just thought that it fit very well with the design. Not only that, but since these two pieces are both year 1 armor pieces, they'll just fit together naturally. So yeah, it looks very good, and I ended up really liking this look, and this is the one that you saw me using in the footage at the beginning of the video. Okay, so now let's go ahead and talk about the last build here, and I think for this one I just ended up leaning fully into that Greek god aesthetic that I kept talking about. So I started off with the arms again. So I decided to keep the star-crossed fist, and then I remember that this design that I talked about earlier, this design is actually mimicked in another armor set, and that is the Meridian Constellation gear. So we can see it here in the chest area and in the leg area. And another perk to the Meridian Constellation gear is actually the fact that we have the fur again. So not that we needed it, because I mentioned earlier that we have this lip and these shoulder pads, which kind of help fill in that gap a little bit more, but it also doesn't hurt to also have the fur there. And from there, I decided to just go one by one on all of the marks to see which one fit the best. And I was happy to see that the Desolation Diver mark from this season honestly worked out so well with this. So there wasn't much thought put into it other than it just looks the best with the armor that I already had on. The only thing that I did have to adjust was the color. So on the Iron Mossbone, which is the shader that I wanted to use for everything, it turned the mark a nice white color and everything was cool, but let me just show you what happens. It kind of adds this like weird silver border to everything and a blue color to the mark, which from far away it looks like it's an off-white color, which isn't that big of a deal, but I get pretty picky when it comes to my armor set sometimes, and it did bother me a little bit. So I decided to use the Omnichromia shader instead. It gave me that same gray color that we have right here in the cloth on the Meridian Constellation gear, and it also provided that like bronze color that we're seeing kind of replicated throughout the whole entire set. So yeah, that just ended up working out. If you don't have Iron Mossbone, actually Precursor Vex Chrome works as a very, very good substitute. Let me show you. So yeah, we get a lot wider of a color, and again, that silver lining kind of just comes back, but you're going to have to just play around to see if you can change the color on the mark to match this a lot better. So yeah, that's the last build. It looks really good and I love it. Okay, so those are my 3 looks, and now I pass the question off to you guys. Which one of the 3 should I be using? Which one of the 3 do you guys like the most? Go ahead and let me know in those comments down below. And if this video helped you come up with some ideas on what you can do with your own Loreley fashion, go ahead and drop me a like and consider subscribing. And if you want to show me what you create with this look, I do have a Discord and you can join it by clicking on the link down below. Go ahead and just post your looks into the Fashion Runway channel. I check that daily. That's also a great way to get featured on my videos if you ever want to do that in the future. For example, all of these guardians you've been seeing in the background are all from my Discord server. You guys are awesome and you guys create some amazing fashion. And if you're thinking to yourself right now that you would like some fashion advice from me, there's a way to do that now. I do have a Patreon and it is linked down below. One of the perks is getting daily fashion advice from me. It gives you access to a special channel in my Discord which allows us to do that, and you get your name at the end of every long form video like you're about to see now. Thank you very much to all of the guardians that are named here. You guys are awesome and make these videos possible. And as for the rest of you, I will be seeing you in the next video. Go ahead and click on any of the videos popping up in your end card now. And as always, stay beautiful.